In this video, we're going to discuss how to manage our emotions. We're instructed by the world around us to cultivate our minds and to strengthen our bodies, but the realm of feelings is often neglected, if not ignored entirely. Fear, anxiety, anger, depression, emotions serve as the underpinning for our behaviors and actions, and to a large degree define our experience in life. Today, we'll be looking at how to minimize the unpleasant feelings and to maximize the pleasant ones in our ongoing quest for self mastery. At a very young age, when I was maybe 5 or 6 years old, I recall a particular evening when my parents went out for the night and left me, my brother, and sister in the custody of a babysitter, a nice teenage girl who lived down the street. I was playing Superman, which was a game I had created that involved tying a bathroom towel around my neck and jumping off of my bed to mimic flying. Just prior to bedtime, I made what would be my final leap of the evening when I somehow landed a bit too close to our large wooden dresser and smacked my knee right into its unforgiving form. Ah! 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 What causes this particular event to stand out in my memory is not the pain of my minor injury, but rather a profound realization I had that night. For a split second after the moment of impact, I realized that I did not have to cry. I felt the feelings of sadness welling up. I felt the sting of the physical pain, but I also had the awareness in that moment that I didn't necessarily have to react to it. I became aware that I had a choice. However, I also knew that if I did cry, I would immediately get attention and sympathy from our babysitter, a dynamic which was taught to me by my well meaning mother. And so I went forward with my conditioned response and let the tears flow. I cried out, and immediately the babysitter rushed in. She hugged and soothed me, making sure that I was okay, and in short order put me and my siblings to bed. I share the story of my early Kryptonian adventures to illustrate the fact that we need not be victims of our emotions, that emotional intelligence is something that we can develop just as we develop our minds and our bodies. Although often overlooked, feelings are present in nearly every aspect of human endeavor. Think about the car that you want, or the house, or the lover, or the promotion at work. We desire these things because we think we will feel better in the having of them. Feelings serve as the underlier for the human experience, and it therefore behooves us to seek understanding and self mastery in this arena, just as we do with the other aspects of our being. So, how do we go about managing our emotions? How do we develop emotional intelligence and produce more of the good feeling stuff and less of the bad? The first and perhaps most important step in learning to manage our emotions is to recognize that we have a choice, to become aware of our ability to choose how we feel in any given moment. This recognition becomes possible by virtue of self observation, by observing oneself in real time as we go throughout daily life. When an unpleasant feeling begins to surface, pause, take a deep breath, and observe the feeling from a place of non bias and non judgment within. Witness the feeling without reacting to it, and by assuming the role of the watcher, we do not identify with the feeling. We allow the feeling to rise, to pass through us, and in short order, move right along its way.
Move along. Move along.
The second step in learning to manage our emotional state is to practice being present in the moment. Being present in the moment positions us to mitigate unpleasant emotions before they arise. For example, when we focus on the future, we often unintentionally create anxiety, worry, and fear. When we dwell upon the past, We often experience feelings of sadness, guilt, and regret. Dwelling in the present moment, conversely, allows us the freedom of inner peace and helps us reconnect to the joy of being. Practice presence in every moment, and you'll soon find yourself observing your emotions rather than becoming them. The third step in learning to manage our emotions is daily meditation. A great deal of the anguish and suffering we experience comes about as a result of perpetual mental chatter, the unforgiving and, for many of us, ever present voice in the head. This unsatisfied and unhappy voice is the voice of the ego, the mind made false sense of self. If you identify with your ego, you also identify with the thoughts it espouses and the unpleasant feelings those thoughts produce. Meditating daily calms and quiets the mind and teaches us to observe the egoic chatterbox rather than identify with it. The fourth and final step I recommend in terms of managing your emotions is to stop seeking happiness. Now, that statement may seem counterintuitive at first blush, and understandably so. Allow me to explain. The reason that happiness eludes so many of us is because it is something that we seek out. We seek happiness in things, in money, in experiences, in other people, and this is precisely why we miss it. The pursuit of happiness and truth creates a great deal of unhappiness. True happiness, or more precisely, the state of joy, is located inside of ourselves. We fail to find lasting happiness in the outside world because, simply put, we're looking in the wrong place. When we cultivate our emotional intelligence and learn to manage our emotions, the joy within us is able to rise to the surface. We discover that we don't need anything outside of ourselves to be happy, and that true happiness shines forth as a result of the joy of being. Learning to manage our emotions is a crucial step in our personal and spiritual development, one that plants us firmly on the path to self mastery. Practice these four suggestions and strive to make them a part of your daily experience. In so doing, you'll soon find that negative feelings appear much less frequently and with greatly reduced intensity. And those positive feelings, emotions of joy, gratitude, satisfaction, and inner peace, are there for your enjoyment in nearly every moment.